It's snowing today. It's actually the first snow here in Utah of winter. The first real snow, I should say. We've had a couple like sleet days where it's just like a little bit of a drizzle, but today we are snowing, and my desire to go out and do anything is zero. So I thought, what better day than today to kind of film this video and talk about my top most used gear that I had in 2023. I have 10 things here plus a few honorable mentions. These aren't in any particular order, but I thought without any further ado, let's just get into it with number one. The Peter McKinnon Nomadic Camera Bag. So I ended up picking up this 20-liter version of the Peter McKinnon bag, and then it honestly became my everything bag because I figured out a way to kind of fit anything I could possibly need into this one bag. I could get up to 2 camera bodies, 3 lenses, 4 lenses actually, my drone, batteries, SD cards. Everything could fit in this smaller bag. So if you're on the fence on whether or not you need a 20-liter bag or a 30-liter bag, if you're looking at specifically the Peter McKinnon bags, I would say go with the 20-liter because you can fit pretty much anything that you're gonna need in that bag. I can fit pretty much my entire kit in that bag. Multiple lenses, multiple camera bodies. Kind of been beat to death, but it is held up and it still works great. My zippers have started to kind of stick on the bag a little bit, which isn't a huge deal. And honestly, I could probably fix it if I just kind of actually took the time to look at what was going on. But that's probably like my only real kind of gripe with the bag that I've had is that, yeah, my zippers have started to stick. But other than that, this has been my favorite bag that I've owned ever, and I'm probably going to use it for the foreseeable future. I have no desire or need to change camera bags. So yeah, that's number one. The Peak Design Travel Tripod. This tripod was one of the first purchases I bought about 3 years ago when I picked up a camera for the first time. It's the only tripod I own. My camera is sitting on it right now as we film. It literally goes with me everywhere. If I'm in front of the camera, my camera is on that tripod. It's gone with me on, like my bag, it's gone with me on all my trips. It's gone with me everywhere. I use it at home in the studio to film reels every single day. It's probably one of my most, if not my most used piece of kit. And it's just built like a tank, and it has just lasted. You know, I have backpacked with it. I've used it in the studio, like I said, and it just hasn't really shown any signs of wear. If you do a lot of backpacking or you travel a lot, then I would definitely splurge to go up to the carbon fiber. But yeah, I think it's just a great tripod, and I can definitely recommend it. I don't know if it gets quite tall enough. I think for like 90% of what I do, it's fine, but I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'3", so the tripod doesn't quite get tall enough to like meet me at eye level. So I think down the line, I'll probably get like a little bit more of a more robust tripod for like using in the studio that maybe gets a little bit taller or has like kind of a fluid head on it, so I can kind of position it and move it around and kind of get some more different shots. But as my only tripod for the last like 3 years, I can wholeheartedly recommend it. And again, it's another one of those products that I don't see myself changing or getting a new version of anytime soon. I'm going to be using it well into 2024 and beyond. Nisi mist filters. Okay, so these are an integral role in my creative process. Pretty much if you saw an image from me this year, a video from me this year, one of these Nisi filters was on it. I just love the look that a black Pro Mist filter gives, and I picked up these Nisi ones towards the beginning of 2023, and they've just been great. I got them in this pack of 3, and it comes with a nice little carrying case, which is great for storing them in my bag. But I got all 3 different strengths. I got the 1/2, the 1/4, and the 1/8. I think my most used of the 3 is probably the 1/4. If you just want to pick up one, I think the 1/4 is probably the one to get. It's just that kind of middle sweet spot. I also think with these, kind of an honorable mention would be these Polar Pro step-up rings that I have. So these have been really great. So what these allow me to essentially do, if you're not familiar with what a step-up ring is, it allows me to just buy one filter size. So I can just buy the biggest size filter. So in my case, it's the 82 millimeter. And then I can just essentially adapt that 82 millimeter filter to my smaller lenses, the Amaran 200X. So this is another product that I didn't buy in 2023. I've actually had for quite a while, but it's what I use to light everything in my home studio. The thing I like about the Amaran 200X is that it's very inexpensive. I think it's like 200, 250 bucks. You can probably find it used for even cheaper or on sale, but I've been using it for a few years, and I've, at least for like the content that I make, so like these YouTube videos and like Instagram Reels, I've never really felt like I needed a more expensive light. I think I've used it for years and I've never really felt limited by the output of the light or anything like that. It's bi-color, so there's no like RGB lighting in it, which isn't something I use very often in my own workflow. You might differ, but for me, just having the bi-color, you know, being able to do daylight temperatures is more than enough, and I've always found it bright enough for my content and for everything that I film. Honestly, like if you want to do stuff like this, if you want to film YouTube videos, you want to film Reels, then I wouldn't go too crazy with the lighting. I would just get the 200X. I think they probably have an updated version now. This one's been, like I said, a few years old. But yeah, it's been great. I, again, will probably just keep using it. I don't really feel a need to change it out. I don't feel like I need something that's brighter or anything like that right now. It's just a solid light, and I use it literally every day. The DJI mics. So these were probably my most used mics of 2023. I had a couple, like obviously I have the Shure SM7B that I'm talking into right now. I also have a Shure MV7. I have had a couple different shotgun mics for mounting on top of the camera, but the DJI mics have they're just kind of convenient. They sound really great. They're also really small and compact. They have a nice travel case, lots of features, and honestly what I kind of like about them is they're really kind of simple. You can kind of like set them up once and then they're just kind of going to be good forever. Like I don't really go in and like tweak the settings or the gain or the EQ on the mics very often. I kind of just got them out of the box, started using them, and they sounded great. I've used them in a lot of videos and a lot of Reels, and they work super good. The Mavic 3 Classic. Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I was gonna include a drone on this list. I don't really know if it's like an integral piece of like my workflow and the type of content that I enjoy shooting. It's a great drone. Like, don't get me wrong, like I think out of DJI's current lineup, the Classic is the one to get, because I mean the only one up from this is the Pro, and all you're getting with the Pro is like a couple extra cameras, and they're not really as good as the main camera, which is the same on both the Classic and the Pro. Like they're the same exact drone, except the Pro has a couple extra so-so cameras attached to it. So if you're in the market for a drone, I definitely think maybe start with one of the minis to kind of get your bearings a little bit and get to practice. The Mini 4 Pro looks really great, but I think eventually if you just want to start taking drone video and photography seriously, then the Classic's the one to go with. But yeah, I think I bought it kind of during a point this past year where I wasn't quite sure what my style was, and I feel like I was just kind of shooting a lot of different things, and I felt like I was hanging out with a lot of my friends are like travel and landscape photographers, so I think I spent a lot of time this past fall hanging out with them, and for them a drone is very integral for the type of content that they make. So I think I kind of got roped into that and got really into that for a little bit. But for the stuff that I actually like making, like portrait photography and things like that, a drone not quite as useful for me, but I did still use it quite a bit this fall, so I thought I'd include it on this list. The Small Rig Multi-Tool. Okay, so this might seem like a little bit of a dumb one, but this is essentially just a little camera tool that has all the little screwdriver heads or flat heads that you would need to like adjust any kind of bolt in any of your camera gear. And most notably for like taking on and off tripod plates, it has been so nice this year just to have the one tool that has all the kind of screwdrivers and like bits that I need to adjust camera gear. It's really dumb and it's not the most exciting of things, but it is really nice to just have in your camera bag and just be able to just have it. I don't know what else to say. It's just nice. It's just one of those little things that just makes life a little bit easier. Okay, I have made you wait long enough. Let's talk about the things that you actually cared about, which were my most used cameras and lenses of this past year. Starting with the camera bodies, the Sony FX3 and the A7R5. Putting these both together because I used both of them throughout all of my content creation this past year. Like, they were my workhorses. I bought both the FX3 and the A7R5 this past year. Literally every video that you have seen on Instagram or on here on YouTube has been shot with the Sony FX3. The form factor is great, the specs are great. 4K 120 is great, log recording, 10-bit color, everything you've already heard about this camera is still true going into 2024. I will say though, if you're like looking to upgrade to this camera specifically just for like 4K 120 recording, which to be fully transparent is one of the main reasons I upgraded to it, because I was like, oh man, like 4K 120 is so cinematic. Yeah, no, it wears off after a while, and I probably shoot more in like 30 frames per second than I ever do in slow-mo anymore. So the Sony A7R5, on the other hand, again, I bought that in January, and it has been my workhorse for photography. 99.9% of the photos you saw on Instagram that I took this past year was on the Sony A7R5. And honestly, I don't really want to talk about it much in this video, because I am going to make or at least I want to make a kind of like a year recap of my time with the Sony A7R5 and kind of my thoughts after using it religiously for a full year. So if you're interested in that video, definitely let me know. And I will make it, because I think I want to go more in depth with my thoughts with that camera, because I think it's an amazing camera and I still love it. I still love using it every day, but I do think a lot of the selling features of it, have either trickled down to lesser expensive cameras, or just I completely forgot about them and didn't really use them. I do have one honorable mention though, and that is the Hasselblad X2D 100C. So for the last month or so, I had the opportunity to shoot and work with Hasselblad and get to use the X2D 100C for all of my shoots in like December. And I absolutely fell in love with that camera and medium format photography in general. Again, I'm not going to say much about the Hasselblad, because I'm actually, as I'm recording this video, working on my full thoughts on the Hasselblad and what it was my experience using it for an entire month as my only photography camera. So that video is coming out very soon. So again, make sure to subscribe. Not going to want to miss it. We're doing YouTube now. It's a little fun. I like being able to actually sit down and talk with you. So yeah, that video is coming next, hopefully in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned. The 50mm f1.2 and the 24-70 f2.8 G Master. I use the 24-70 predominantly as my main video lens this past year. I kind of live in the camp that zoom lenses are better for video, and then prime lenses are better for photography. Because when you're shooting video, having a lens like the 24-70 is just so nice for being able to just get a variety of shots without having to constantly be changing your lenses. You know, you can get a wide establishing shot at 24 and then punch in to 70 to get a nice detail shot. Now the 50 f1.2, it kind of snuck up on me. So I ended up actually renting the 50 for a shoot I did early in the year. And I don't know, there was just always something about those images that really spoke to me, and I really just liked the way they were rendered. And so I ended up about halfway through the year buying the 50mm f1.2, and once I got it, every photo I took, every portrait I took was shot on the 50mm. I took it with me everywhere, and there were even a few times that I didn't bring it with me and I immediately regretted not having it. The Tri-Charge by Peter Lindgren and Jupio. So this is a little bit of a footnote here at the end of the video, because I didn't actually have it in 2023. It actually wasn't even out yet, but it was probably my most anticipated product of 2023. So what the Tri-Charge is that it combines your battery charger, your battery case, and your SD card case all into one nice compact product. So you can charge your batteries, store them, and store SD cards all in one place. And it's just very well built and well designed, and it just makes a lot of sense. I honestly think my favorite feature though is the battery indicator. So it's quick and easy to just see how much battery percentage you have left on each battery, which is really nice, because I think we all know the pain of like grabbing a battery, putting it in the camera and realizing it's dead. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It just tells you right on the Tri-Charge that you have or don't have battery anymore. All right, that should do it for this video. That is my most used gear of 2023. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you real soon in the next one. Thanks for watching.